Hello, everybody, and welcome to Train Station at 8, a video game music podcast. As always, we've saved you a seat. I'm Steven, your usual host, and I'm joined by Bryan, your usual other host.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, how you doing?
I feel like I haven't talked to you in a good 2 days.
Kind of feels that way, you're right.
Yeah, and that's very rare for us, so it's a good thing we have these podcasts to catch up with each other.
Even though chat while you jumped around Splatoon last night, so
that's true. And we had a quick Skype conversation today saying, "Are you ready for the podcast?" So, luckily we're not alone though. That would be a tad boring. We also have Shariq Ansari, aka Darkesword, on the podcast. So welcome to the show, Shariq.
Hi.
We're very happy to have you. I've been listening to your music for quite a while now. One of the earlier OC remixers that I've heard.
Oh, cool. I'm sure people who listen to this podcast know what OC Remix is.
Yeah.
But if they don't, it's a community dedicated to the recognition and promotion of video game music as an art form. And the way we do that is by arranging music from video games. So there's over 900 artists on the site. There's over 3,000 remixes. We just put out our 51st album. All of it is free. You can download it for free. Lots of different styles of music. So rock, techno. Well, techno's not really a rock, electronica. You got your dubstep, orchestral, classical style stuff, chamber music, bluegrass, country, chippy stuff,
It
jazz.
might be quicker to list the music that isn't on there, which is like nothing.
Lots of hip hop, a lot of really good hip hop. Basically something for everyone. You're not, people have their own tastes, but, usually they'll find something that they like. If you took all of the music on the site and you put it in a playlist, it would last longer than 7 days. So,
I like the variety of genres because since you have video game music as kind of a touchstone, it can get you into genres you might not be listening to otherwise.
Yeah, that's like VGM is kind of the gateway. A lot of people kind of you were talking about pop music before, and a lot of people bristle at listening to pop music because they're just snobby people. And
exactly.
I don't agree with that. I think pop music is really great. I like listening to Katy Perry and Kesha. And, I would say it's my guilty pleasure, but I don't really feel guilty about it.
You moved beyond
nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I listen to all kinds of music, and VGM is part of it. And a lot of people make the mistake of calling out VGM as a genre when it's not. It's just the medium through which different types of music is delivered. So, so OC Remix has been around for a long time, and I've been on the staff for a really long time. I'm kind of like the number 3 guy on OC Remix. So it's like Dave and Larry and me and Zircon kind of keep the show going.
Do Dave and Larry have artist names that people?
Yeah, Dave is DJ Pretzel.
Okay.
And Larry is not really a musician, but sometimes he lends his voice to samples and stuff. So he goes by Lion Tamer on OC Remix. But most people know him as Larry. DJ Pretzel's the founder of the site. He's the head honcho. He's the guy in charge.
Nice. So what are your duties with OC Remix supposed to consist of these days? Because it's a pretty vast undertaking.
Yeah, I do a lot of different things. I started off years ago as a judge on the judges panel. For people who don't know what that is, the way OC Remix works is it's not like a site like SoundCloud where you can just go and upload your video game remixes. It's a curated site. So people submit their music to us. We evaluate it against a laid out criteria, against a baseline of production quality and arrangement value and that kind of stuff. And then if it fits what we're looking for, we put it up on the site and promote it. So most of what you hear on OC Remix is not straight covers of video game tunes. It's not just someone looking at, a song from Mega Man and playing it exactly, except on better instruments. It's there's a lot more involved. There's arrangement. There's original content involved. You're really rearranging it rather than just doing a sound upgrade. So that's what we're really looking for at OC Remix. So there's some evaluation that's involved in that because we have to make sure that what we're posting jives with our site's mission. Reinterpretation is a huge part of that. So we have a panel of judges, which is a group of I think something like 12 or 13 people, and those are the people who sort of go over all of the submissions and evaluate everything. And I started off as a judge. I was a judge for a long time. I still am a judge, but I don't do a lot of I don't do as much evaluation as other people on the panel. I also do. I moderate our forums, which is crazy. I moderate our forums. It's calmed down in the past couple of years, but it used to be a very tough community to moderate. But people get very passionate about things. But in any case, I do that. I direct albums for OC Remix. One thing that we've been doing in the past couple of years is event albums for fighting game communities, for fighting game tournaments and stuff. So there's a Smash Brothers tournament that happens every January called Apex. It's probably the biggest Smash oriented tournament in the world. And we've been doing the official album of Apex for the past 3 years. And we also, this year, we're doing the official album of CEO, which is Community Effort Orlando, which is a really, really awesome fighting game tournament down in Florida. That's actually dropping like in 2 weeks. So that's going to be really cool.
Oh, cool. That's really excellent.
Yeah. And
it's actually a really neat idea, I think, that you guys had to go to these fighting games tournaments and essentially help, give them promotion, and then at the same time compose essentially a theme song for them, and then a bunch of music to go along with the games.
It's not just a theme song; it's a full album containing remixes of the songs, remixes from the games that are featured at the tournament.
So are they using that music at the tournament in any capacity? Like,
they use them on streams and stuff.
Oh, nice!
As like background, because streaming is huge. For fighting game in the fighting game community, and especially fighting game tournaments, people tune in and watch tournaments and stuff. So they use them on the streams during downtime and background music and stuff.
That's good.
And then we print up physical versions of the CD, the album. We do physical runs, and then we give them out as like promotional items at the event. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So there's that, and then there's also kind of just like being a community administrator and interacting with people. There's more albums that I run aside from the fighting game stuff. I update the Twitter. Larry mostly does the Twitter, but I sometimes every once in a while I'll update the Twitter for OC Remix. So I have my hat.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff. And then I also run like competitions. I haven't run one in a while, but we have these big competitions. I started this one. We've always had like these weekly remixing competitions on OC Remix, but a couple of years ago I started this thing called the Grand Robot Master Remix Battle, which is it's a tournament of Mega Man remixes. So,
oh my gosh!
I don't know if you guys
are you just automatically disqualified if you use Wily?
No. The way it goes is so Bryan, let's say you and Steven are competing in the tournament. Okay, so let's say how familiar are you with Mega Man?
Fairly familiar.
Okay, so pick a Robot Master.
All right, Snake Man.
Okay, Snake Man. So Steven, you pick a Robot Master.
I'm going to go with an old classic, my pal Gutsman.
Gutsman, okay. So let's say you two get matched up in the first round, okay?
Okay.
So, Bryan, you're Snake Man, Steven, you're Gutsman. So basically what you both have to do for the first round is you each have to write a remix using Snake Man and Gutsman's theme.
Oh, I get you. Okay, that's very interesting.
Okay, so both of you write a Snake Man versus Gutsman remix.
So it's like a mashup of both those songs?
Yeah, you have to use both songs. And then everyone votes. Who wins the battle? Snake Man or Gutsman? Okay? So let's say, Bryan, you
Right.
just edged out Steven and you won with Snake Man. Okay. So you go up to the next round because it's a single elimination tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then let's say you're up against me and I'm, Blizzard Man from Mega Man 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to write a Snake Man remix again, but this time you have to use Blizzard Man in your remix too.
Man, that's
the way
brilliant.
it works. Yeah, so the way it works is like you pick a song in the beginning, that's your Robot Master, and then you have to see if you can get to the top and be the Grand Robot Master.
So I'm gonna get really sick of Snake Man if I make it far in this tournament.
Yeah, you could, or you could use it as a learning opportunity and arrange Snake Man in all the different ways. Ben Briggs actually, he picked Snake Man in one of the tournaments, and he did like 4 Snake Man remixes, and then he put out an EP on his Bandcamp of those Snake Man remixes.
I want to hear that. I actually really love the Snake Man song.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we've actually done that a couple times a year. Not a couple times a year, a couple times over the years. So there was the first one was in 2010, and then we did one, I think, in 2012. I also did a Mega Man X version with the Mavericks. So people would pick a Maverick. There's also this really crazy one I do called the Wily Castle Remix Gauntlet, which is it's not a tournament, but it is a running competition. I don't know how deeply we want to get into this, but I can explain it a little bit.
Let's get into it deep.
So
this is super interesting.
It's a tournament. It's not really. It's a competition that I came up with to be in a completely different format. And I've never seen this format before. So I kind of like lay claim to like this gauntlet style tournament.
Yeah,
but the way it works is, let's say that it's team based. So the way it works is you, me, so Bryan, Steven, and me, okay, we're gonna form a team. We all pick our own Robot Masters, okay?
Okay, I'm going to be the weak link in this team, just telling you now, but continue.
So we got Snake Man, we got Guts Man, and we got Blizzard Man, right? And we're all in one team, okay? And we come up with a team name like Energy Tank or something, okay?
Perfect.
And then other remixers also form teams, 3-man teams, okay? Then every week, the competition organizer, who's me, reveals the Wily stage music that people will be remixing that week. Okay. So then in our team, we pick who's going to remix that week. So let's say the first week, we pick Bryan. So Bryan, the first week we remix, you're going to remix Snake Man's theme and mix it with whatever the Wily theme is for that week.
Okay.
So let's say like Wily Castle to like Mega Man 2 Wily Castle, right? So you have to make a remix, and then the other teams, they all pick their guys, and they all have to use their Robot Master to remix against Wily's theme. Okay?
Okay.
Right.
And the thing is, because we're a team, we can help you with the remix, because it's our team's remix. So you're the main guy, you're like the lead artist, and then we can help you with like, percussion and drums, and, we can write like synth lines and, help you with like feedback and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. And then the next week, someone else has to go. And basically we run through it until all 3 of us go, and then it's another block, and then it resets, and then we can pick again. So it's like a 9-week competition. Mm-hmm. Every week someone is remixing. And also, like, I didn't mention this before, but you only have a week to write this remix.
Yeah, I was.
That
from it. That's pretty intense.
So it's a night. But the thing is, with the team thing, it's like you only have to remix once every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's really fun. It's really cool because nobody gets eliminated, so you can stay in it throughout the entire competition. Mm-hmm. You're working with a team. You're having a lot of fun with your friends. You're learning a lot from other artists. And it's a ton of music, because I think the first year we did the Wily Castle Remix Gauntlet, we had 14 teams. And,
oh my god!
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so every week, I mean, some weeks like a team didn't submit a remix, but every week we were averaging around 11 to 12 remixes.
So did this stuff, like, did you guys go through this and decide which of it you liked enough to put on an OC remix? Is it like on its own website? Like, what happens to the music from these tournaments?
Right. It all gets released in a zip file
Gotcha.
at the end of every week. If you go to the OverClocked Remix website and you go to the forums, there's a competitions forum. And in that competitions forum, you can find the threads that I've created for my competitions, my Mega Man competitions.
Gotcha.
And I put like archive releases of these competitions up. So it's not like just the ones that are really good. I basically put out everything. So you have all of it. And the thing is, not all of them are great because a lot of people, like they're still learning how to remix and they're still like getting into learning how to make music.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like beginners and novices. So obviously their stuff isn't going to be that great, but then, you know, there's also like guys like Ben Briggs and Phonetic Hero and all these guys who are in there and like having a lot of fun working with like the novices and putting out awesome music and stuff. So it's a really good way to build your skills because it's forcing you to like, I need to do this remix in a week and I just need to get it done.
That's one of the biggest problems with creating music is just putting it off.
Well, I mean, that's a big thing with creativity in general. I mean, anytime you ask like an artist, like, oh, how do I become like a really good artist? Then they'll tell you, keep drawing. And like, how do I become a really good writer? Keep writing. You know, you just have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Throughput is the biggest thing.
The really smart thing to me about this tournament is that you have parameters and guidelines and something to shoot for.
Yeah, exactly.
And then on top of that, you have a deadline. Yeah. But you have built-in support, so you can't just flounder on your own.
Yeah, the gauntlet stuff is really fun. People really like the gauntlets because it's less pressure on them if they keep winning. Because if you're like in the tournament and you keep winning, you basically have to write a new remix every 2 weeks because it alternates It alternates like remixing and then voting, and then remixing and then voting. So it's like if you're doing well, you can get tired. But in the gauntlets, it's like you can just, you're in for 3 remixes and that's it over a 9-week period. Yeah. So I'm actually planning on doing we haven't done this. We've done 2 Wily gauntlets. And then we've done a couple of the Grand Robot Master and Grand Maverick things. And I did some other competitions. But I'm planning on doing a Sigma Fortress remix gauntlet this summer. So it's going to be the gauntlet format, but with Mega Man X, which we've never done. So I hope
that's cool.
Hoping people are going to be into it. It should be fun.
That's really cool. I've always heard about those tournaments, but never knew how they work.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy. Fantastic. And they've been adapted. Like other people on the site have run like a Sonic the Hedgehog version. So so Superior X runs the Sonic Zone remix competition, which is basically exactly like the Grand Robot Master remix battle, except with Sonic Zone.
That's cool. I need to check that out.
Bryan, I'll help you. I don't know how I can help. I'll give you moral support.
Oh, you mean enter?
No, my friend. That would go terribly wrong. You enter.
Oh.
I will give you instructions from the sidelines.
Oh my gosh, I need to find the time to do that. That sounds incredibly fun.
And the thing is, a lot of those remixes do end up on OC Remix because people end up like polishing them and submitting them.
I mean, you end up with a whole album from it, pretty much.
Really
it's way more than an album. Actually, I let me look real quick. The Wily Castle Remix Gauntlet, the first Wily Castle Remix Gauntlet, has over 100 tracks in it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because it was like 9 weeks and then a bonus round at the end. Let me see. Competitions. Wily Castle Remix Gauntlet was in 2011. If I do the archive release, there are 105 tracks.
105.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's more than an album.
There is that one album.
Harmony of Heroes?
Called? Harmony of Heroes. That is 101 songs. Deep. But
fantastic.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, that's super fun.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I didn't mean to sidetrack. But
no, not at all. You're here to tell us great grand stories about OC Remix.
Yeah.
That's why we want you here. But so what have you been listening to recently?
A lot of Final Fantasy, actually.
Okay.
I've been playing. I don't know if anyone else out there is playing this, but there's a mobile game called Final Fantasy Record Keeper.
I heard of it.
Are you on this? You got to get on it, man.
I thought you said a MOBA. I'm like, wait, when did a Final Fantasy MOBA come out?
I think people would love that, but
I do too. Mobile. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, could you imagine the rage of players, because like Final Fantasy
I don't want
fans
to.
are already like super angry, right?
Well, it would be all of the Final Fantasy fans who are waiting for Final Fantasy VII's remake to be
Oh
released.
my gosh.
All
The Final Fantasy VII MOBA.
You're gathered around.
Um,
That'd be good.
But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Final Fantasy because I've been playing this Final Fantasy Record Keeper game a lot.
Is that the one that's just all of the battle system?
Yeah, it's all the battles.
Yeah.
It's like active time battles, and then like all of the characters are like 16-bit sprites. So you get like Cloud and Sephiroth and Waka, and it's pretty awesome. And like Lightning and Snow from 13 and all them. They're all in it, but it's all like 16-bit battles. It's really, really good. And it has just music from all of the games in it. And I was also listening to these Final Fantasy guitar collections recently. These official guitar arrangement albums that they put out of Final Fantasy. Been listening to OC Remix just dropped a brand new Final Fantasy II album.
They did.
Yeah, Brandon
Rebellion, right?
Rebellion. Brandon Strader. It's his follow-up to Random Encounter, which is a rock and metal oriented Final Fantasy I album. So Rebellion is pretty awesome. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet.
I've only heard one song so far. It was Sixto Sounds.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, it was Sixto Sounds, so it was amazing. But I look forward to finishing the album.
Yeah, it's really, 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 really good. And it's not just rock either. It's not just rock and metal. There's actually like a really awesome dubstep track and some piano stuff. It's really, really good.
Hey, do you happen to remember or know who did the album art for that particular project? Because I love the album.
For
Which
Rebellion?
One? For Rebellion.
You can see the credit on the Rebellion website. If you go to rebellion.ocremix.org.
I should go look that up.
It should be
because it has this
called out.
This like fantastical like mood setting path winding into these strange looking hills at sunset. It's
funny story about that that artwork. That was originally supposed to be the back cover of of Rebellion, and then the back cover with all of the people fighting. I don't know if people have actually seen the back cover, but it's another really nice art piece of a bunch of characters fighting like bad guys. That was the back. That was supposed to be the front cover, and then
they just swapped it.
Jose the Bronx Rican, who does all of our trailers and stuff. He used the quote unquote back cover in the trailer heavily, and when Brandon saw that, he decided that he wanted to swap the covers because that cover with the character looking over the hills into the sunset works a lot better as a front cover. Right. So yeah,
I think I agree.
It's Edward Dennis who drew the cover art. Yeah,
great. Props to Edward.
I like gorgeous looking cover. I really like it. Yeah,
excellent. So, anything else? Anything else of note that you've been listening to? Or
the CEO album? I've been listening to that a lot. It's called
called
Champion. It's the album that we did for CEO. It's got a lot of really cool tracks on it. My younger brother, who's also a remix, did people are going to be really excited about this. He did a remix of Together We Ride from Smash Brothers, which is the Fire Emblem theme.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's great.
So people have been like clamoring for a remix of that for a really, really long time.
For sure.
And he delivered, so he knocked it out. I did a Persona 4 arena track. I remixed Yukiko's theme. And then I also did a Guilty Gear track, May's theme from Guilty Gear X. I did that, and then really funny story. So Alex Jabali, who's the guy who runs CEO. He's a big guy in the fighting game community. He works at Iron Galaxy. He does a lot of cool stuff in the fighting game community. He runs CEO. He asked me when we were putting together this album, he said, "Hey, I got some guys who would like to be on the album. Is it okay if I have them send you the tracks?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's great. It less work for me. I don't have to look for guys to cover certain games." So I already had a guy covering Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Jacob Diaz goes by DJJD. He did a really awesome Tekken remix for me. But then Alex's guy, Richie Branson, did these 2 tracks. One was a Tekken remix, and one was a Mortal Kombat X remix, or Mortal Kombat 10. I forget what it's referred to.
I think they want you to say X, but
okay. So
easy to know.
So Mortal Kombat X. So Richie did these 2 hip-hop tracks with all of the lyrics are about the games. So it's really cool because they're actually really relevant lyrics. And then I'm putting together the final stuff in the end, so that I can send it off to our printer so that we can print up the physical copies and everything. And I quickly messaged Alex Jabali and I said, "Hey, can you ask Richie what songs he remixed from Tekken and from Mortal Kombat, because I'm having some trouble recognizing I was having trouble recognizing the
source tunes. Yeah, okay.
And so he's like, "Oh yeah, sure." So he messages Richie, and Richie comes back to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, they're not remixes, they're originals." And I was like, "Oh." And Alex is, I'm talking to him on Facebook, and he's like, "Is that bad?" And I'm like, "It's not ideal, but let me figure something out." And I wanted to get everything off to the printer by Monday last week, and I was talking to him, and it was actually after midnight Sunday, so it was technically Monday morning, and then I was like, okay. And I had already worked on a lot of music that weekend. I did my Guilty Gear. I finished up my Guilty Gear remix, and I was doing a commission piece for a friend who's an animation student. And then it was like after midnight, I had to go to work in the morning. I was like, all right. I just opened up FL Studio and I quickly banged out a Mortal Kombat remix. Wow. Yeah, really quickly. I was looking out. I was like, I don't even know the music for Mortal Kombat X. Like, what is it? I looked it up real quick on YouTube. The main theme of Mortal Kombat X is the original Mortal Kombat theme from the 90s. And I was just like, I'm just going to remix that. That's easy. So I just, opened up FL Studio and I was like, all right, I'm going to cheat a little bit. And I just started using a lot of pre-made loops. Yep. Yeah. Because I own a lot of loop libraries and sample libraries and stuff. I say cheating. It's not really cheating. It's just another way of making music. Usually I make music from scratch.
In this case, it's a very convenient, necessary shortcut.
Yeah, so it was a lot of here's a drum loop that I can use, and then I can chop it up and do some stuff with it, and then here's just some texture loops that I can just drop down, and it just creates a really nice texture. So I didn't really have to do a lot of work. I just had to write a bass line, and I had some orchestra hits in there and some chiptune stuff. So I knocked it out in an hour, and I was just like, all right, Mortal Kombat's covered. So we're still gonna have Richie's songs on CEO. On the CEO album, because they're really awesome. I really like them a lot. And we have another original track, which is the main theme of CEO. It's called Champion, and that's the name of the album. So that's the main theme of CEO, and that's an original piece. It's not a remix of anything. But we also have really awesome remixes. Ivan Hockstock and Sixto Sounds collaborated on an Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom remix, which is the title theme of Ultimate Marvel. We have, let me look it up real quick. A lot of really cool stuff. Let me see. I have it here. CEO. There's an original track by Ben Briggs called Falcon Punch. Flex Style did a dive kick remix.
That's
cool. It's actually the theme of the character JEO, which is Alex Jabali in the dive kick game. Because dive kick is all the characters in dive kick are just people from the fighting game community. So he did a remix of JEO's theme, which is Alex Jabali's theme, which is cool. We've got let's see, a really, really awesome Street Fighter 4 remix called Dash Cancel, which is by Nutritious, who's another judge and staff member at OC Remix.
Does awesome
work.
Yeah,
he's fantastic. So it's really exciting. It's going to be good.
Remind me again, when is this album going to drop?
We're trying to drop it the week of CEO. CEO starts on the 26th of June, so we're going to shoot for that Monday. Because we want to build a little hype for the event and get people listening to the album, So it'll be cool. It's going to be fun.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's what I'm listening to. Aside from that, you
have a ton of stuff on your plate.
Aside from that, I listen to a lot of podcasts, but that's not really music. Then I've been super into Yuzo Koshiro lately, listening to a lot of his newer stuff, like Etrian Odyssey, cool. and I don't know if you guys have heard this soundtrack, Seventh Dragon.
No, I haven't.
Seventh Dragon is a DS RPG. It didn't come out in America. It only came out in Japan. But there's like a ROM translation that you can get and emulate it. But it's a DS RPG. Yuzo Koshiro did the music, and the way he wrote the soundtrack was he wrote it all as chiptunes first. He wrote the entire soundtrack as chiptunes first, and then what he did is he went back and he did kind of like sound upgrades and like applied samples and stuff to the chiptunes, and rewrote a little bit of them to make them work as like more fully fleshed out pieces.
Right.
But the thing is, when they published the soundtrack to Seventh Dragon, the first two discs are the soundtrack from the game, and then the second two discs, disc 3 and 4, are the entire soundtrack in the chiptune version. So it's like an entire NES chiptune version of the soundtrack of Seventh Dragon. And I got to tell you, if you listen to the chiptune version of it, it's right up there with like Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, like those really old classic RPG NES soundtracks. It's right up there. The melody and the harmony and all of that stuff, the writing, it's amazing. Seventh Dragon is awesome. You can listen to it on YouTube. All the soundtracks are always up on YouTube. People just upload video game music onto YouTube all the time. But Seventh Dragon is awesome. And then there was a sequel to Seventh Dragon called Seventh Dragon 2020, which was basically like, instead of doing a medieval RPG, it was like a futuristic RPG. And then Yuzo Koshiro took songs from the original Seventh Dragon soundtrack and then remixed them in a more electronic style. So a lot of the tracks show up again in Seventh Dragon 2020. So
yeah, it's driving me crazy. I know I've heard the name before, Seventh Dragon. I feel like someone told me about it. I think someone told me about the soundtrack once, and I said, I'll check that out.
Yeah, you gotta hit the soundtrack. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Cool. I will check that out. It kind of reminds me of composers who start with a piano and then convert it into, whatever.
Yeah, like the remixer, the remixer Blind from OC Remix?
Yes.
Yeah, he actually writes, he told me once he writes stuff in MIDI first, and then he goes back, and then he starts applying all the effects and the samples and the synths and everything.
So he starts with like as basic as possible and builds up.
He does like a framework and a skeleton version of it first, and then he goes back and does everything.
What's your composing style? Like, if you're just sitting down at your computer, what do you usually start with?
Midnight. The deadline has to be the next day.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's got to be like super. I need to get it done like in an hour.
And then it's drum loops.
Yeah, exactly. No, I open up FL Studio. That's my DAW of choice, and I start usually. If I don't know what I'm writing, I start just playing around with different sounds and seeing what I can put together. My style kind of tilts towards like new agey stuff. I like a lot of repeating lines and building textures with lots of like, chimes and bells and that kind of stuff. And that's kind of my style. I write from start to finish. I do everything like I write everything all at once. So I'll be doing like, I want this instrument to sound this way. And I won't have finished the arrangement yet, but I'll be working on like what I want the drums to sound like and what I want like the guitar to sound like. I'll be working on the samples and the mixing while I'm writing the arrangement.
Yeah.
So you don't just like throw a skeleton together and then revise.
No, I
or
probably
something.
should do it that way. I used to write music like that back when I wrote midis and stuff. I used to go all the way through.
I see.
But nowadays it's more like I kind of just like get kind of like a groove going and sort of build a texture and then write a little bit more and then
Yeah, I do it similar to that as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels like I need to just complete the whole piece beforehand, but I kind of like being able to tweak it as I go. It gives me a feel of like what direction I want to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Sound-wise and what
Because depending on what you get that sound to sound like, that was an awkward sentence.
It then kind of inspires the next piece.
It will inform. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever sat down and ended up with what I wanted to write.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Oh,
Saying
yeah,
it's off in
okay,
a
I
completely
get what
different
you mean.
direction.
Like I'll sit down and I'll be like, I'm gonna do a jazz remix of this song, and then it turns into something completely different. And it always happens that way, which is fine because I come up with really good things when I just let that happen. You know, if you try to force it, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, all of my favorite stuff has come from me just like hearing a sound I like and then building around it.
This very podcast has a theme song written by Bryan. It was done a while ago, so it's, I guess, not even your best work at this point, but it was an Animal Crossing remix, and we both really liked the sound of it. And then we kind of had a little reboot for the show a while ago, and I said, Bryan, we need a new song. So make it 7 p.m. from Animal Crossing A New Leaf. So Animal Crossing New Leaf 7 p.m. music. See what you can do with it. You like that song. And Bryan, you kind of kept like beating your head against it, and you finally put something out. And it was 7 p.m., right? I'm not making that up.
You're mixing two different things, but it's fine. Continue.
Okay. Well, whatever you put up before, you just didn't feel it, and you finally sent it over to me, and you're like, I'm done. And I'm like, no, you're not. This doesn't have any heart behind it. It doesn't sound right.
Right.
And I think it's because you had an idea of what you wanted to do, and you were forcing it.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
Yeah, that can totally happen. I agree. So I like letting things happen naturally, and it sounds like that's very much your style. So it's cool. One thing I did want to mention before we moved on from OC Remix is there is an OC Remix Patreon now. I don't know how long it's been out, but for people who don't know
For
that,
a couple of months. Yeah, a couple of months now, actually.
yeah, because I remember seeing it before, but not everyone might know about that. So just check out patreon.com/OC Remix or search, Google OC Remix Patreon.
That's what it is. It's patreon.com/OC Remix.
Perfect.
Generally speaking, if you want to find OC Remix somewhere, it's going to be OC Remix something or something / OC Remix.
Yeah,
that's our Facebook,
right.
that's our Twitter, that's everything. It's our YouTube. Yeah.
And yeah, if you want to support them, it's a very easy way to do that. Patreon's pretty awesome. I'm really happy OC Remix is on there now. So
yeah, please support us because nobody who works for the site gets paid.
That's something important about it.
We do not make any money from the site. Aside from the one Mega Man album we did with Capcom.
Yeah.
And then we have our sister site, OverClocked Records, where we actually sell music, but we take a very, very small percentage of the sales to go towards OC Remix.
Right. It is like the definition of a passion project. So
yeah, exactly. So we all have regular jobs. We all have like day jobs, and nobody gets paid on OC Remix. Dave doesn't get paid. Larry doesn't get paid. I don't get paid. Nobody gets paid. It's all everything that the site makes in terms of like merchandise sales, like T-shirts and stuff, goes right back into the site.
Yeah, to keep it running. So it's kind of this big community project. It's cool. OC Remix is a cool thing, folks.
I've been trying to think about what I've been listening to since last time we recorded an episode, because I don't even believe it's been a full week since then, correct?
No. In podcasting time, it has not been a full week.
Right. So not a whole lot of time to listen to music. I'm pretty positive I've been listening to more Sonic Runners.
Oh, yeah, me too. For sure.
And I was just listening to the announcement trailer for Sonic Boom Fire and Ice and trying to figure out if that game would actually have good music or not.
I don't know. I don't know if the trailer music is going to make it into the game.
You don't?
So.
Okay. From the trailer music, do you think that will be a good soundtrack?
If that's in the game, I think it'll be better than the first Sonic Boom.
I don't really know that soundtrack.
It's not very good.
Okay.
It's kind of a lot of meandering orchestral.
I'll take your word for that.
Background music.
As I was getting my haircut today, I heard a lot of modern pop hits.
That's
that
fun.
I hear pretty much nowhere else. Apparently Call Me Maybe is still a thing.
Oh, wow.
That is being played on Pandora.
Exceptional.
Yeah.
That's a nice long tail for that song.
Exactly.
proud of Call Me
And
Maybe.
yeah, I'm trying to think of Uptown Funk is apparently still a thing. But as you can tell, my video game music listening has been a little bit light as of late.
I suppose so.
Again, it was that I've been super busy and pretty much away from music for the past few days. And then in addition to that, I talked about what I've been listening to very extensively on the last podcast. So not a whole lot of new content there for me. What about you?
Well, kind of mostly the same for me. Maybe the only real big change is I've been playing Splatoon and thus hearing the soundtrack, which is giving me Nakagawa vibes and good times. I really love that music. It's really the kind of music I like. It's funky and weird and
should be called Splatoon. You know, like
Splatoon.
Exactly.
Splatoon. I get it. That's hilarious. But mostly it's kind of been same old looping Sonic Runners again. Listening to The Sims 3, which I do a lot because I find that really relaxing and inspiring. But yeah, it's nothing too exciting since there hasn't been a lot of time between podcasts. But yeah, let's move over to the open question.
Sure.
Then.
Alrighty.
The open question I thought up for this week was, how have your music tastes changed over the years, or have they? Bryan, did you see this question that I sent out via email?
I actually did not. This is
okay.
Me.
Yeah, well, that's the question.
Okay.
Well, let's put you on the spot.
Great. Yeah. That's the
You're the one who hasn't thought about it. I didn't think your music tastes have changed.
How do I think of, like, since, I guess, ever? We're going back as far as I want here.
Yeah, it has to be relative. I would just say, just over the years since you've been listening to music, you can pick a specific point if you like.
I do think I want to think on that question a little bit, so why don't you go ahead?
Oh, fair enough. Well, I've thought about it a little bit more than you have. And I think the biggest thing that has changed for me, I guess since I was a kid and listening to music, has just been the range of music that I enjoy listening to. Mm-hmm. Like, there was a time in my life where I just thought hip hop and rap was all just noise. Like, I just couldn't get into it at all. And I'll have to kind of hand it to, like, video games and video game remixers to sort of prove me wrong, and then, you know, move on to other styles from that. I think that's one of the big things for me, is just I like more genres now than I used to. I guess that's kind of the classic, you know, expanding your palette kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with food, right? But I guess, like, another thing is I've realized that my early music tastes were actually accurate to what is my favorite stuff. So as I expanded, I found myself going back to the things that ultimately, in the beginning, I liked a lot. Like the kind of pop rock stuff from Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic Adventure, that sort of thing. I've just continuously gravitated towards that and narrowed down to what part of it I like.
Right.
Which I think is kind of interesting. What about you, Shark? Have you noticed any changes in your life?
Yeah, when I was little, I didn't really listen to, like, bands and stuff. I mean, I really liked music from video games when I was little. I've always really liked music from video games. I also listened to a lot of, like, Indian music, because I grew up like with, like, a lot of, like, Bollywood music and stuff in my house.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't really get into that, really get into music. When I was in high school, I got really into jazz, and I kind of, like, I got into jazz in the bad way, which is, like, you become a super, like, snob about that, you know, like, oh yeah, like, right. Jazz, like, and then, like, you know, you like, oh, like, stuff on the radio is terrible. I only listen to, like, you know, that's, like, just awful, like, yeah. Shut up, kid, you know. But then, you know, I would listen to a lot of stuff. I started getting into electronic music, and then, I really got into, like, you know, classic rock, and I always stuck with video game music and, like, film score stuff, but, you know, and jazz. I still love lots and lots of jazz, because I played trumpet when I was in high school, and I was in the jazz band, and, you know, I did a lot of that stuff. was very big into marching band, so I listened to like, drum corps stuff and everything. And my music taste just kind of like expanded outward and kept expanding. And I forget exactly when it was, but there was like this gradual de-snobification of my tastes with music.
Uh-huh.
And like I said before, I listened to like Katy Perry. I love Katy Perry, and like Kesha and like all that like really like saccharine like bubblegum pop stuff. And I really like I really like singer-songwriter stuff. Like Ingrid Michaelson is probably my favorite artist ever, and Sarah Bareilles. The two of them are just fantastic. My music taste has basically expanded out into basically I'll listen to anything. I'll give anything a shot. I think that's what it boils down to. There are still things that I don't like. For example, I have a hard time listening to like really heavy like black metal. Yeah. It's just a little too much for me. There's like a harshness to it and I'm not into it. Also very, very, very simple, hip hop that doesn't have any substance to it.
Yep.
I also have a hard time with. I really like hip hop. I love really good hip hop when the lyrics are very dense and there's a lot that the artist is trying to say. But when it's just kind of, when there's nothing to it, I can't really get into it.
I think for me, when it comes to hip hop or a mix of hip hop and pop, or whatever you want to call it, it either needs to be like really positive, almost to a humorous, fun degree. Uh-huh. Like I love a lot of J-pop, hip hop for that.
Right.
Or it has to be meaningful in some way. If it's going to be channeling, some kind of dark or emotions, then in that case, it needs to have something, to say that I either want to hear or feel like I need to hear on some level.
Yeah.
It's kind of that in between for me when it's just, then it just starts to sound like yelling, which, like I said, is what for a long time I thought hip hop was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm kind of with you there.
Yeah. So that's kind of how my music tastes have changed, and I think they've changed for the better because I'm not a snob. I'm not a music snob anymore.
That's nice.
And I always try to like impress that on people that especially artists, like people who are trying to learn how to write music. The most important thing you can do when you are learning to write music is to listen to lots and lots of music and not just listen to the music that you think you like. You need to start branching out and listening to other things. You need to listen to, new age and jazz and world music and orchestra music and rock and classic rock and punk and ska and hip hop and all this stuff. You need to get in there and really listen to this stuff, because that builds your musical vocabulary. And then what you can do is you can start, bringing in different ideas to your own writing. And you can write something that's very, very, straight up like a samba or something. But, you like hip hop and like dubstep, that can inform your writing in ways that you won't even realize. So it's very important to not be a music snob, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, it's exactly this. Go ahead, Bryan.
Sure.
No problem.
It reminds me of a quote from Terry Pratchett that I saw recently. He was a fantasy writer.
Oh, I know Terry Pratchett.
Yeah. I just don't know if all the listeners do.
Yeah,
that's cool. Glad you know him. But yeah, he was talking about if you want to write fantasy, read everything but fantasy. Because if you only read fantasy when you want to write it, you're just going to end up writing what everyone else has written before you.
Exactly.
Just regurgitating it. And it's those outside influences that are so important. And yeah, I totally agree with you. It comes to the same thing to music. It's like if you're going to write a rock, a rock song, listen to stuff other than just rock and, get some better influences in there.
And I think that's one of the great beauties about video game music. Even if you pigeonhole yourself and you're like, I just kind of listen to video game soundtracks, I guess, I don't really branch out to real bands, quote unquote, kind of like you were saying before, Shariq. That's actually secretly going to work in your favor because video game music is so strange and diverse that you're going to be hearing jazz and rock and orchestral, and you're going to hear enough variety, hopefully, in the soundtracks that you will start to be inspired to go explore those other genres. At least that's how it worked for me.
But the thing is, like, you know, I sometimes I would see people at like MagFest or these events, and you know, be talking to people, and they would say something like, you know, oh, I only listen to OC remixes and I only listen to VGM, and I just want to be like, don't do that. You know, don't do that. You listen to everything, you know, like listen to like don't ever say I only listen to this and look at that as a point of pride, because that's not a point of pride, because basically you're cutting yourself off from so many different kinds of influences.
Yeah.
So I kind of cringe a little when people say, "Oh, I only listen to this." Well, don't do that. Yeah. Listen to other things too.
I only listen to my own podcasts, and
room full of people. I am slightly closed-minded.
Yeah. That's basically what you're saying. That's basically what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Bryan, what about you? Have your music changed? Have your music tastes changed over the years? Do you think?
My tastes. Something that has changed for me over time is I've felt less pressure that I should be liking certain music, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like, well, if I want to be a musician, I should like, you know, all classical music and be super into classical music. Or if I am going to be a guitarist, then I guess I should like all of the classic rock from the 70s and that sort of thing. And like feeling that the music I do like is inferior to whatever like the more, you know, classically beloved music for a genre is. I kind of decided that's probably not the best mindset to have. Kind of like you're talking about liking pop, despite people looking down on that a lot of the time, or liking specific facets of a genre rather than just liking the stuff that you feel you're supposed to like to be a connoisseur in whatever genre or a snob.
Or if you go the other way, where you're feeling pressure to not like something that you do like. Like for example, for years I had to preface every statement I made about like the Sonic Adventure soundtrack with, it's cheesy, but you listen to the song, it's cheesy, but I think, you know, at this point I'm just like, this song is just awesome. The Sonic the Hedgehog theme song is great in Sonic Adventure. I just genuinely like it. There's no irony.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter, right? That's a great song. It doesn't matter. It's a great song. I mean,
exactly. And the whole song is about it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Listen to the lyrics, folks. And so
that's what he's telling you.
Expanding my tastes and at the same time narrowing them down or accepting them, you know? It's kind of like a two-way street.
It's understanding what you like and not feeling pressure to like other things, but then constantly trying other new things as well.
But always having an open mind.
Right.
Yeah. Or as they say in the Japanese version of Sonic CD's soundtrack, as you move along in your life, keep an open mind.
Yeah, sure. You can quote that like entire song.
And I love it. Oh, that's great. All right, well, I think that solves our open question.
Woohoo. We've solved music taste forever.
Yeah, good for us. We ought to release this to the world so we can stop arguing.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, good point. All right. Well, in that case, let's swing out to news from the city. And actually, Shariq already scooped my first news piece, which is that Rebellion came out. So there's that. The other thing I had on the list, though, was Adventures of Pip. You guys know about this game?
No, what is it?
Is it a Kid Icarus game?
It sure isn't.
Okay.
It's about this little dude who can deconstruct into a pixelated version of himself, or even just a single pixel. It's a pretty big pixel.
I was about to say, that could be really hard on HD. Like,
yeah, the artists take liberty. Anyway, it's a really cool, stylish-looking side-scroller that came out recently, and our good friend Jake Kaufman, and I call him our good friend even though I never met him. It just in my heart, he's my friend.
I've met Jake. I've met Jake before.
All right. Okay, so I've met someone who's met Jake,
friend,
so close
Jake
enough. Yeah,
he's not my good friend. we're acquaintances, but okay. I have met him.
Acquaintance.
Yeah, I hung out with him in New York many years ago during an OverClocked remix meetup.
Nice.
Cool.
We had pizza and talked about
hugs,
music and stuff.
Oh,
it was cool.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds lovely. But yeah, anyway, he did the soundtrack to this game, and so I wanted to play a little snippet of it and see what you guys think.
Okay.
This is the town theme, and he recently tweeted a link to this on Twitter. He's very excited about it. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, great. I just thought it was very lovely, and I wouldn't initially think it's Jake Kaufman.
That's different than what he typically does. Is it like an RPG or a platformer? Did you say?
No, it's more of a platformer, but there's a town, so maybe you can go and shop around or something. I've seen a bit of gameplay. It looks like a really neat game, but I just thought this was really lovely.
Yeah, he typically composes much higher tempo pieces, so it's interesting.
Yeah, something. Definitely. But he mentioned that on Twitter that another piece, not the one I'm playing, but it was one of his favorite things he's composed in a while. So I think it's he's enjoying it. I've been enjoying listening to it. So
nice.
Anyway, maybe check that soundtrack out and that
Is
game.
the soundtrack available yet?
No, I don't think so. I couldn't find it though. So
check Jake Kaufman's Twitter account for more.
Yeah, I think this game just came out. Looks like it came out on June 4th on Steam. So he probably hasn't released the actual album yet. But usually he throws his stuff up on Bandcamp. So
nice.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll see it there soon. But that's all the news I've got since we already covered Rebellion.
Nice.
It's just the Jake Kaufman at this point.
That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. So we got one more segment though. And it's our little quiz show called
Train Your Brain.
And I should probably insert the intro that Disaster Piece did for us.
Oh, right. That was fantastic.
Yeah. He did not write a song for us. He just yelled "Train Your Brain" into the microphone. It was pretty good. Hit. But anyway, Train Your Brain. It's a little quiz segment where we play video game music snippets and ask our guests to identify them with help from Bryan.
Yeah, because I don't know any of the answers.
I'm not going to do well on this.
Well, we'll see. You do have Bryan's help, and it's in an area of expertise of his.
Mine?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, we'll get to the theme in just a second.
Any.
You do. This is your only area of expertise. And last time in the past episodes, we've had you as like a power-up, where you just stand in the background and people call upon you for help. But we realized it was way more fun when you were looking over their shoulder and helping them out all the time. So you can just do whatever you want. Just don't spoil every answer.
Sure.
So I tried to pick something, Shariq, that I knew that you had some experience with. So I decided to do the Sonic the Hedgehog series.
Oh yeah. I'm an old school Sonic fan. I played all the Genesis.
Oh yeah, I totally. Yeah, I'm gonna help here.
So some of this is old, some of it is a little newer, but hopefully you can narrow it down and figure it out.
Okay.
But I have a twist.
Uh-oh.
And the twist is that for each song we play, you can delve essentially into 3 levels of it. You can guess the console it's from, the game it's from, and if you actually know the song, you'll get maximum points.
Okay.
So you can get a point, per category. So if you can just guess the console, 1 point. If you can guess the game, you get 2 points.
And can we guess
the
any
song,
console it's
you get
been
3
on?
points.
Like,
no, I mean it has to. It has to be like
the Mega Drive collection on GameCube.
Oh, find the original console or consoles. You get 1 point, not 1 point per console.
Right.
We're not crazy here.
Oh my gosh! If you play anything from the original Sonic,
Yeah. Okay, that's terrifying. I think we have like 15 to 20 versions of the original Sonic the Hedgehog in this house. Maybe released it 1,000 times. Anyway, so those are the rules. That's what we're gonna go for. So let's see how you guys do. We'll start off with I think a fairly easy one. All right, here you go.
I could see
that's Sonic 2. That's the Aquatic Ruins zone.
You got it, and I assume you know that's on the Genesis. So you get 3 full points for that,
or whatever you want to call it.
Nice.
No, it was on the GameCube for the Sonic the Mega.
Oh no!
Yeah, that was good. I was actually a little bit lost because I like Aquatic Ruins, but this is not the Sonic 1 Aquatic Ruins. Where the heck does this play? I forgot about that stage in 2. So,
oh yeah, thank goodness. But yeah, good catch, Shariq.
All right.
Okay, so next one.
That's from Sonic Advance for Game Boy. It's the casino level. I forget the name of the zone though.
All right, that is super close enough. It's called Casino Paradise Zone. Yeah. Zone 1.
The thing about that soundtrack is there's another Game Boy Advance game called Sonic Pinball. which is a pinball game which uses all of the zones from Sonic Advance, and it uses all the same soundtracks. And I played the crap. I mean, I played Sonic Advance a lot, but I played the crap out of Sonic Pinball.
Yep. There was that amazing Somebody Amigo board where you could play a little rhythm game.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
And that game was the first Sonic game to make me very, very happy by remixing the Sonic.
That's right.
Song.
It did that. Yeah, I remember that.
Supersonic Racing. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very cool. Okay, next question. You got the first two 100% right. You haven't even needed.
No,
right.
I probably wouldn't have been any help on either of those.
Well, let's see what we've got with this one.
That's Sonic 3D Blast, the title theme from the Genesis Mega Drive version.
You're good, Shark. I should have made these harder. That is 100% right.
I know the PC and Saturn version of the soundtrack so much better than the Genesis version.
Yeah, the Genesis soundtrack is better.
I don't necessarily doubt you, but I haven't heard it as much.
That's a big debate, actually.
Okay,
it's Genesis or it's kind of like which one is better, the U.S. or Japanese version of Sonic.
Oh no,
it's kind of like one of those arguments.
About that way too much.
Well, I've already definitively answered that question by saying they're both.
Well, I mean, yeah, OC Remix did that too when we did Temporal Duality, which is the Sonic
that's right. That's right. Album. Okay, well, hopefully, and I'm sorry to want to run you down to the ground, but I want to have you get at least one. Hopefully, this one's going to be harder.
Right. Maybe, probably.
I think that's Shadow the Hedgehog, probably.
Yeah.
The evening bit of it sounded a lot like a Shadow song. It's not one I've heard before, I don't think. It's definitely a modern game. It could be like Sonic 06 somewhere that I'm forgetting it. But the last little bit of techno kind of...
Yeah, they all kind of blur together for me. It might be something like Sonic Heroes.
Don't think it's Heroes. I know that soundtrack really well. It's not that. It's not any Sonic Adventure game. I would have to say it doesn't remind me of any of like Secret Rings or Black Knight either. So I'd probably either say Shadow the Hedgehog because I know you've been listening to that soundtrack, Steven. I would probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't know Secret Rings or Shadow the Hedgehog or Black Knight. So your guess is as good as mine.
I guess I'll go with that one.
So wait, what's
Shadow
the final
the
answer? Give me that
guess.
again. All right, Shadow the Hedgehog. You know what console it's for, and you don't know where it plays.
I know. I have not even listened to that soundtrack or played the game, so I'm just.
Well, unfortunately, you are incorrect. Okay. It was Sonic 2006.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so you almost got it. That was Aquatic Base.
Okay.
Which is actually a really beautiful song.
Yeah.
I dropped off of Sonic games after Heroes. Heroes just made me so angry that I just dropped them.
The soundtrack
Colors is really good, and Generations is really good.
Yep.
The thing is, the soundtracks have continued to be really good.
I don't doubt that, but even Unleashed was disappointing with the Werehog stuff.
Yep.
Understandable. Have you played Generations?
I love Generations. Generations is really good. Yeah. Colors is really good.
Yep.
And Sonic Rush for DS.
Did you ever play Sonic 2006?
No.
Oh gosh, don't.
I revisited it the other day. Unplayably bad.
Yeah, there's an episode of OCR Talkback, which is our web show that we do every couple of weeks on Google Hangout, where it's me and Mike Audio, who's a remixer on OC Remix, and we are just ranting really, really angrily about Sonic 4.
Oh dear. See, that was a shame because even the music was. I mean, that was June Sinaway.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Right?
He did stuff back in. It wasn't. Yeah, he did stuff back from.
It was.
What was it? 3D Blast and the Genesis. Like he's been a Sonic for a very long time.
Yeah.
I don't know what was up with Sonic.
He worked on Sonic Adventure. I mean.
Yeah. He was the main.
He pulled tracks from 3D Blast Genesis for Sonic.
Yeah, like when
he remixed them for Sonic Adventure.
It was fantastic.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I love this.
All right, sorry, I missed the one question I was responsible for, Modern Sonic question. I didn't know it.
Well, Bryan, let's see if you can redeem yourself because I think you know what this song is.
That's Sonic Adventure
Yes.
for Dreamcast.
That plays. It is the Speed
Twinkle-
Highway, like the last segment of it, where it's like in the main city.
Well, all I can say is ding, 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 you were correct. It is indeed from Speed Highway. It's at dawn.
Yeah, that's right.
Which plays the final segment. Just a lovely song to listen to for a morning
I love
when the
that
sun is
song.
coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, you are nailing the point so far, except for that Sonic 06.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's Sonic
Soundtrack.
06. That doesn't count.
That
Wiped
doesn't
up my
count.
mind. Like,
I had to put it in there just to throw you
Cool.
off. All right, we got one more question though.
That's
all right,
That's
give it to
Knuckles'
me.
theme from Sonic 3 for Genesis.
Nice. All right. I was wondering if it would throw you off because all it is
nah, it's
and that's it. And
that's all it is. That's why it's so easy to
Not
recognize.
going to play Knuckles' theme from Sonic Adventure because
even more memorable. Well, wow, you did an excellent
that
job.
was the best we've had yet for sure.
Yeah, Shariq and Bryan, you got 15 out of 18 total points.
Oh, right.
Points coming from console games and songs. So yeah, excellent job. That was way over 50%. So it turns out, Shariq, you know the Sonic series at least, pre 2004 pretty well.
I like I said, I dropped off at Heroes because Heroes just made me really angry.
Yeah.
I really wanted to like Heroes a lot because it brought back the Chaotix and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just so poorly made. Like the concepts were good and the idea of like having like a team where you have to switch formations and stuff was really good. But it was
felt really floaty.
It was really floaty and it was all just very glitchy. It was just poorly made. And I think that's where the Sonic series went wrong.
Yeah.
Because when you have games like Mario and Zelda, every time Nintendo puts these games out, whether you agree or disagree with the design decisions that they make, that's one thing, but at least you can trust that they are well made. But with Sonic, you can't always trust that they're going to be well made. It doesn't have that pedigree because they'll just be glitchy. Sonic will get caught on a wall. The camera will flip out. He'll fall through the floor. Something will happen where you're just like, how did they sell this?
Yeah. And it always happens in every single game. The thing is, I more count on Sonic games to be interesting, if not good. I always know that they will do something
really crazy
and put together an insane soundtrack.
I feel like that's the problem though, because like with Sonic, it's always like with Sonic Unleashed, right? It was like, here we go. Here's like a Sonic game where he runs really fast and it's this really cool stuff where he's running and he's like, it's really fast and the graphics are great and he's flying and there's all these branching paths and it's like, all right, yeah, I'm into this. This is great. And then suddenly they're like, yeah, also he turns into like this really slow werehog and it turns into God of War for like a really bad version of God of War for like half the game.
And then it's
always like, here's a Sonic game you want. Oh, by the way, here's all of this stuff that you don't care about.
I feel like Sonic Generations finally delivered a game that has pretty much all good content. And then that was released. It was amazing. And they said, okay, time for Lost World. And it's like, no, you changed it all again. It was really good.
I mean, and Sonic Colors kind of set up Generations in a way.
Sonic Colors was great as well.
Really good. It set up Generations, and then Generations kind of like executed on that concept like brilliantly. And then they were just like, let's try something different again. It's like, no, that was working. Why?
I know, like
why
people have so
different?
consistently given them, from what I can see, positive feedback about just making Sonic run fast and do cool things, and they keep not doing that. Like repeatedly. It's confusing.
And every once in a while, hey, at least Rush got a sequel.
True.
I mean, they tried to put a bunch of weird boats into it, but still, it was a sequel.
Yeah. That's true. Sonic Rush did get a sequel, so.
The storied history of Sonic the Hedgehog.
I'm disappointed there was no Sonic Rush music. I guess it would have been too obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, you can spot Naganuma at a mile, but anyway, congratulations on the quiz, Shariq. You did an excellent job, and that brings us to the end of our show.
That's it.
Whoa.
Yeah. We sudden stop at the end, just like Sonic the Hedgehog glitching into the bottomless pit. So here we are, Transition 8, falling through the floor of this particular episode to the outro. Working on our transitions.
Sure. I like the metaphor.
So thanks everyone for listening. Thanks Shariq for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Of course, it was a ton of fun. It was awesome to hear a lot of inside stories from OC Remix. I love hearing that kind of stuff. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so. We're just TrainStation@8 over there. That's our email address as well, trainstation8@gmail.com. If you want to see other shows we're working on, including Train Station at 8, you'll want to go to whalesorwhales.com. There you can hear shows about Hearthstone and storytelling and cool stuff like that, with cool people like us. That's pretty much it for our plugs, though. What about you, Shariq? Do you have anything?
Not really, just OC Remix, I guess. Yeah, check out OC Remix, ocremix.org. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/OCRemix. Like us on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow me on Twitter. Darkesword, it's DARKESWORD.
Yes.
So, follow me on Twitter. I tweet about lots of stuff, video games and music and classic TV shows and, that kind of stuff. And, that's it. That's all I got. I already talked about like everything that's coming out.
Yeah,
with those like with the CEO album.
And we'll put all that stuff into the show.
Yeah, I'm going to be
so
at CEO actually. So if you're going to CEO, I'm going to be there with Jarrell, who's our merch guy at OC Remix. We're going to have a table there and we're going to be selling like t-shirts and stuff. And and then OC Remix is going to be at Otakon. I'm not going, but OC Remix will be at Otakon. Doing our, hopefully, we haven't gotten approved yet, but I don't think we won't be approved. We should be doing our 10th anniversary panel of being at Otakon, because it's been 10 years, I believe, since we did our first panel at Otakon.
Oh, cool.
And the first Otakon panel was actually the first panel that we've ever done for OC Remix. And then since then, we've gone to tons and tons of different conventions like PAX and, MagFest and everything. So... But yeah, look for OC Remix. If you're going to Otakon, check out OC Remix panel at Otakon. Hopefully we will be there. I won't be there, but like Dave and a bunch of other people will be there.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome. All right. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this particular episode, and we'll, of course, see you again next week at Train Station at 8. Until then, check out OC Remix, listen to more video game music, hit us up on Twitter if you want to suggest anything or talk to us about anything, and we'll see you later.